Hey guys, Zero here bringing you guys the chapter review for chapter 819 for One Piece. Now this chapter I'm gonna go swift. I'm not gonna edit the video much, it's just going to give my thoughts. Now, first things first, we're still on Zoa, of course, and with everything that happened last chapter and previous chapters, we get to a focal point here where at the beginning of the chapter Luffy and the crew are shocked. And they're like, your father was Lord Oden was part of the Pirate King's crew? He learned about the history? And they explain that, yes. But the issue here is that, and Zoro even gets an eye on this, that's why, you know, the Flamingo, Kaido, Jack, all these people going after Momonosuke and them, was to retrieve or acquire the information of Raftel. However, like they've stated, Lord Oden didn't want to trouble Momonosuke with that, so he never told anybody about what happened on Raftel. But as Kanjo mentions, despite them not knowing anything about Raftel, their enemies are still coming after them because they still believe that they know something. So they get to a point where they have to make a stand. And they mentioned that Lord Oden said to open the borders of the Wano country. And I think that's a reference to the fact that not even the Marines are able to penetrate it. You know, because they don't welcome outsiders. It's a secluded island with its own military force, if I'm not mistaken. So, with them stating that he wanted them to open the borders, that's pretty much signifying that they need to acquire allies. And like Kinemon said, they sought out allies to help them in this fight. And the first place they thought about was Zou, because of the connection between the Kozuki clan and the Mink tribe. And the fact that Inuarashi and Nekomamushi are direct retainers of Lord Oden himself. So, Kinemon asks Luffy to help them fight Kaido. Luffy says no. And I was a little bit ticked off when he said that. However, I do understand Luffy's perspective, and again, I liked how it ended up anyway, because I guess they saw it more like being under his umbrella, like him leading, but Luffy wanted more of a mutual thing. Like once he heard Momonosuke state that he wanted to defeat Kaido, that's when he agreed to make an alliance with them, because Luffy wants to see that he treats him like an adult while everybody else treats him like a kid, because you know, Luffy sees everybody as equals. He doesn't necessarily put himself above anybody. So by hearing Momonosuke's decree, Luffy agrees, and he forms the Ninja Pirates Mink Alliance. And Law gets ticked off. He didn't ask for his permission. He's like, "Oh, you agree, don't you?" And that's not the point. So we had that alliance going on, which we knew, you know, we were gonna have the Mink Man alliance, but we didn't know it was gonna come about, I believe, this crazy. And I was gonna talk all this make a video about this, because in the last chapter people kept saying, oh, Kaido is the Shogun, when no, he was not. You know, they clearly stated two different titles for a reason, and I knew that it was gonna be the Shogun and Kaido that both work together to take down Lord Oden, which I'm really curious at how powerful Lord Oden was. If it took two people to betray him, to take him on, I'm a little bit iffy on that, and I do have a theory on who the Shogun might be, though it might be a long shot. But anyway, going back to the chapter, they're about to have a banquet because to celebrate the fact that the two lords are, you know, in unison now. And I think it's important to mention that Inuarashi mentioned that though they were taken by surprise and they'll accept that laws, it would not happen again, because this time they have a trump card. I'm curious to know as to what that trump card is, and I'm leaning towards the fact that together, without being at their throats, Neko and Inu are a lot more powerful. The strategy of day and night is pretty ingenious due to stamina, but I feel like together, you know, without them being at their throats, they're at their best. But we'll have to see how that works out. And then we get to the end of the chapter. Well, after the alliance, Luffy mentions that he has to go get Sanji, and that was his one condition. And he states that Sanji is easily equal to 1,000 men. And Inuyasha's like, oh, that's reassuring. And then Zoro's like, just to let y'all know, I'm worth 2,000 men. And now he's like, yeah, yes you are. But anyway, at the end of the chapter, we see that Jack has returned to Zou. And he mentions there's a bothersome that that they have to go back there. And he states that they do not have to rush things because he intends to take out the elephant itself. So he means to take out Zou, the island. Really curious how he's going to do that. Unless he has a poison gas big enough that he'll poison the entire area, but he'll screw himself. So I'm curious as to how that's going to go. And I'm curious as if we'll see Luffy versus Jack. But something tells me it might be more of Zoro versus Jack. Or maybe the Inuarashi and Nekomamushi versus Jack. Well, Luffy and the guys leave to go retrieve Sanji. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out because the rest of his crew, Jack's crew isn't all that impressive. The only guy impressive is Jack himself. So I'm interested in how that's going to play out. But guys, that's it for this review. A little bit longer than it needs to be. But see you guys next time. Peace!